On today's episode, we're talking about skunks and intimacy. Next on
Papa Swag's words of wisdom and encouragement.
Welcome to Papa Swag TV. I'm John Papa Swag Munsey. And on this channel, we talk about overcoming the challenges of life through Papa Swag's words of wisdom and encouragement. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please consider subscribing to the channel. On today's episode, happy Valentine's Day. If you're watching this on Valentine's Day, this is the day we're going to be publishing it. And so as we thought about this particular holiday, there's something that comes to my mind every time I think about this holiday that happened to me in February several years ago. Because what most people don't know is February is the month for skunks to mate. And so I actually had the privilege once of seeing skunks mate. And let me tell you how that happened. I'm sure you're curious how that happened to me. Well, it was a Sunday morning, and I was out for my Sunday morning run before I headed off to church. And so I was going to be running my 4 or 5 miles. I forget what I was doing at the time, if I was training or not. And so I'm running around the block, and I come in the neighborhood. I turn right, and I see off in the distance, even though I'm nearsighted, so I was pretty close if I could see this, 2 skunks getting together. One skunk was on top of the other skunk, and they were just kind of wrestling around, or it looks like it was wrestling, but apparently they weren't wrestling. Apparently they were mating, and I had to make a decision. I had to make a choice. That choice was, am I going to go run by the skunks and I'm going to get double sprayed, or am I going to run the opposite direction? Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, by the way, I should have said before I started, if you're 12 years or younger, you may not want to hear what I have to say today because it may be a little bit too graphic. So this story is definitely not for kids. So I had to make a decision. That decision I made was, instead of running by it, I didn't get it on video, I didn't get any pictures, I ran the opposite direction and allowed them to keep with their business, and I kept with my business and did not get sprayed. So but in thinking about that skunk mating ritual that I saw that day, it reminded me of a term, and it goes to this week's word of wisdom. So I was thinking about the skunks and how they were mating, and it led me to this week's word of wisdom. I scoured the internet to find something about intimacy that I felt fit. And so here's what I came up with, and there's no one except for the internet that I can credit this to. But it said this: intimacy is not purely physical. It's the act of connecting with someone so deeply you feel like you can see into their soul. Let me say that again. Intimacy is not purely physical. It's the act of connecting with someone so deeply you feel like you can see into their soul. Unfortunately, in our culture, we have put looks and outward appearances beyond anything else when connecting with somebody else. For example, a guy will say, "Oh, she looks hot. She looks. Oh, look at her legs, or look at her body." Or a girl will say, "Look at that. Look at that guy. Look at that cute guy. Look at the the pecs on him. Look at that body. Look how he is developed, or whatever. I don't know. Whatever it could be." But when we want to get intimate with somebody, we usually think of the physical acts of sex and those things. But intimacy goes beyond the physical. It goes into wanting to connect with that person, not only on a physical level, but on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, on an intellectual level. So you want to touch that person on that spiritual side, that soulish side, that emotional side, that intellectual side. All those sides is where you want to open up and reflect on that. So I'm going to encourage. So that's what this week's word of wisdom is about. Going beyond the physical in your relationships that you're closest to. And so I want to encourage you in those relationships. And we're going to talk about this week's word of encouragement. So I just want to encourage you in those relationships, that one specific relationship, and those relationships that you've been intimate with. You know, usually you have your family relationships where you either with your siblings or your parents where you were intimate, and then you have that significant other that you get in a relationship. Like my wife and I are extremely intimate. We have emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, spiritual intimacy. All those things are what makes us the couple that we are. And I want to encourage you, when you want to connect with that person, you want to connect with that person that values the things you value, believes the things that you believe, the person that you feel that you can open up with. That's what I want to encourage you. I want you to go beyond the physical aspects of the person. That is important. It is important to take care of your body. That's why I run and stay healthy. And so I want to encourage you in those relationships to find that individual that you can connect with and that you're able to open up with. So that's why I just want to encourage you here on this Valentine's Day. Go beyond the outward appearance, get into the inside to know that special person. And I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. And I just want you to know, I want to thank you for watching today's video of Papa Swag TV. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you can look in the description. You'll see where you can follow me at. And just in the comments, I would like to know what are your thoughts on what I talked today about intimacy, about this week's word of intimacy. Intimacy is not purely physical. It's the act of connecting with someone so deeply you feel like you can see into their soul. So hopefully you enjoyed this week's video. Just closing, guys, as I always do. Remember, be encouraged. You are created to do great things, and I'm here cheering you on. Till the next video, have a great week.